"Wonder is the beginning of knowledge," said the great Aristotle, and he was among the first to wonder at the very fact that the world exists at all. For centuries before him, philosophers had asked many questions about justice, about beauty, about the nature of the soul. But Aristotle dared to ask the most fundamental question of all. 2,500 years ago in Athens, a question was posed that would shake the foundations of human thought. Why is there something rather than nothing? Think about it for a moment. Why does anything exist at all? Why is there a universe filled with stars and planets instead of absolute emptiness? Why do we find ourselves in a world of matter and energy rather than in complete void? The great Stagirite observed, "The most difficult thing in first philosophy is understanding why anything exists at all." In these words, he captured the essence of the greatest problem in knowledge and the particular difficulty of solving it. Generations of thinkers would grapple with this mystery. Some would turn to gods for answers, others to eternal substances and first principles. But the question remained, hanging in the philosophical air like an unsolved riddle. Thus was born problem number one for all theoretical understanding of the world, a problem that would wait more than 2 millennia for its solution. A problem so profound that most philosophers simply accepted existence as a given and moved on to easier questions. But who could have imagined that the answer to this eternal question would be found by a boy from a Tatar village in distant Russia? In a small Tatar village, lost among endless fields, a boy named Ravil was born into a simple peasant family. The year was 1938. No one could have imagined then that this child would dedicate his entire life to finding the answer to humanity's greatest question. Ravil grew up as an ordinary village boy. He helped his parents with household chores, played with friends, and studied at the local school. Nothing suggested that this quiet child would become a thinker of world significance. Years passed. Ravil came of age in the atmosphere of a traditional Tatar family where they respected their elders, believed in Allah, and lived a simple, measured life. An ordinary Soviet teenager in an ordinary village. But in 1954, when Ravil turned 16, an event occurred that would forever change his life, and ultimately our understanding of existence itself. No one could have predicted that one night would become the point of no return for the future philosopher. 1954. Ravil was 16 years old. That night, all the adults had left the house. Ravil was alone. Waking up in the middle of the night, he found himself in absolute darkness and in absolute silence. Complete darkness surrounded him from all sides. Not a sound could be heard. No rustling, no breathing, only emptiness. And suddenly, the 16-year-old boy felt something terrifying. This darkness, this silence, they seemed to be asking a question that pierced him to the depths of his soul. What if nothing existed at all? Imagine this moment. A teenager alone in the darkness suddenly realizes the world might not have existed at all. There could have been nothing. Absolute nothing. Why does anything exist at all? Where did all this come from? Why existence rather than non-existence? This moment became the point of no return, an imprinting that forever changed the life of a boy from a Tatar village. After that night, Ravil began searching for answers. It would take 58 years of his life. After that night, Ravil could not find peace. The questions that had awakened in his consciousness demanded answers, and he turned to the closest person to him, his mother. "Mama, why does the world exist?" asked young Ravil one evening, looking into her kind eyes. His mother, a simple village woman raised in the traditions of Islam, answered as generations of her ancestors had answered, "Everything is from Allah, my son. He created this world by His will." This answer, sincere and full of maternal love, calmed Ravil, but not for long. His mother embraced her son, thinking she had given him what he was looking for, But deep down, the teenager understood the question remained unanswered. And soon, this question would be heard again. But this time in a school classroom. In physics class, the teacher was explaining the structure of matter, atoms, molecules, the laws of nature. Ravil always showed great interest in learning, in understanding the world. The physics teacher noticed this and grew fond of the curious student. After class, Ravil approached the teacher with a question that haunted him. "Teacher, where does matter itself come from?" The teacher, an educated and thoughtful man, paused for a moment. He genuinely cared for this inquisitive boy, but such a question puzzled even him. Matter is a given, Ravil. It simply exists, eternally and infinitely. Science studies how matter is structured, but not where it comes from. Ravil understood. There was no answer here either. Religion said Allah created it. Science claimed matter is eternal. But no one explained the most important thing. Why does everything that exists exist? The search for answers was only beginning. After school, Ravil entered Kazan University. Philosophy was his favorite subject. He studied thinkers from different eras, but none of them provided an answer to his main question. He graduated with honors and began teaching philosophy at an institute. He married, had children. Outwardly, his life was successful and happy, but inside, the agonizing search continued. Many nights, Ravil conducted a strange experiment. He would close his eyes and try to imagine that nothing existed. Absolutely nothing. Then he would open his eyes, and before him appeared our world in all its complexity and beauty. According to objective logic, absolute nothingness is the simplest and most easily achievable state. But in reality, we have an amazing, existing world. This unsolvable dilemma tormented him. Why did existence triumph over nothingness? The answer seemed unreachable. Continuing his search for answers, Ravil read through dozens of books. Again and again, he reviewed all his notes, which had accumulated into a whole pile of notebooks filled from cover to cover. Years passed. The search seemed endless. And then, one day, he grasped something important. We all describe our world as that which exists, and even that which does not exist, we explain as existing. There is that which is not. We accept this world as a given. But in order to logically substantiate the existence of our world, we need to investigate it not as a given, but as a receivability. The ontological breadth of the objectively permissible must be such that even being in general and non-being in general are included as particular cases. These discoveries inspired Ravil. Finally, he understood which direction to move in, but it still took several decades before his search led to the creation of the theory he would call the theory of existence. 2012. Ravil is 74 years old. Several decades had passed since the first revelations, and finally, the ultimate understanding came. Ravil solved the problem that had tormented humanity for thousands of years. He discovered three fundamental principles: ontological completeness, ontological distribution, and ontological mutual determination. All elements mutually advance and mutually eliminate each other. Nothing is created from nothing, but everything is obtained through mutual determination. Matter as substance is impossible. What we perceive as material is created by complex ontological operations. Humanity received the answer to the main question of existence. Why does something exist rather than nothing? The theory of existence by Ravil Kulakhmetov revolutionizes our understanding of reality. Until now, humanity perceived the world as a given. Ravil proved the world must be understood as receivability. At the foundation of everything lies ontological rhythm. ultra-fast rhythmic processes that create all the functional dynamism of the world. Everything is predetermined, assigned forever, existing in eternal circulation of infinite transformational processes, procedures. All material bodies possess a hidden semantic transformational code. The cosmos consists of two opposing realities. Coexistence is our world of gravitation and attraction, and cosmic vacuum is an anti-existing reality that creates an inertial field space. Thanks to this inertial reality, planets can move for billions of years, birds can fly, and a football flies after being kicked. This theory opens the path to a transformational type of civilization. For the first time, humanity receives a tool for understanding not only how all existing exists, but how everything is received. Ravil Kulakhmetov did not simply solve an ancient problem. He posed 60 new global problems and called upon everyone interested in questions of world order to continue the search. After all, understanding the nature of existence can change everything, from physics to the meaning of human life. Ravil devoted his life to the greatest mystery of the universe. He showed that even in the age of technology, the most important discoveries are born from the power of creative mind. His theory of existence is not the end of the search, but the beginning of a new stage of knowledge. Aristotle's question has received an answer, but how many more mysteries await their researchers?